Examine the sheep brain. Pick it up and turn it around. Notice its color and texture. Can you name any of the brain parts or what they do? Figure out which direction is rostral. Rostral rhymes with nostril, and rostral is the direction that goes towards the nose. Have you heard of the word dorsal? Dorsal, like dorsal fin on a fish or a dolphin, is towards the back of the sheep brain. The opposite direction of dorsal is ventral. Look at the ventral surface of your sheep brain. You may notice a small grayish ball that is cut in half in the middle of the ventral surface. That is the pituitary gland, which releases hormones like growth hormone, estrogen, and testosterone. Notice the covering on top of the brain. It is called the dura mater, or durable or tough mother, because it's a thick leathery meninge, or layer, that protects the brain. Next, you can take the dura mater off, starting from the rostral end of the sheep brain. You may need to make one small cut with the scissors by the rostral or nose end to be able to take the dura off. Also notice that as you take off the dura, you may need to cut or rip off nerves, the whitish-colored threads, and blood vessels, the bluish or brownish or purplish threads that are attached to the dura. After you take the dura mater off, try pulling on it to see if it is hard or easy to tear. Now that you can see the brain fully, figure out if you have the right side or the left side of the brain. After you figure out what side you have, find another person or group that has the opposite side of the brain and put them together. Notice how big the whole sheep brain is. Spend a few minutes finding the other parts of the brain. Olfactory bulb, corpus callosum, cerebellum, brainstem, cerebrum, frontal lobe, temporal lobe, parietal lobe, occipital lobe. Find where the spinal cord and the eye socket would be. Now take your knife and cut the sheep brain at the rostral end, around the middle of the eye socket. Look at the two cut pieces, and notice that the gray matter is on the edges of the brain, and the white matter is on the inside of the brain. The gray matter is made up of dendrites and cell bodies. The white matter is made up of axons that have myelin on them. To find the hippocampus, you will need to take the sheep brain part that has the cerebellum still on it. Place one thumb along the brainstem and underneath the cerebrum. Next, lift the cerebrum away from the brainstem and tear the brainstem off. Then, looking at your piece of cerebrum, notice a band of white fibers by where the brainstem used to be attached. Run your stick underneath the band of fibers and lift it away from the cerebrum. This C-shaped band of fibers is the hippocampus. The hippocampus is the part of the brain that decides what you will remember. A good way to remember the word hippocampus is that if you saw a hippo on a school campus, you'd probably remember that. If there's time, you can try using your wood stick to peel off two shiny thin layers on the top of your brain called the arachnoid plexus and the pia mater. You can also use your stick to scrape away the gray matter from the white matter.